organizations, and also providing business coaching sessions, which I do. They're about 45 minutes. So that's ideal if you want to grow or scale your business. So the end goal here is basically to help you succeed, and we want to support you the best way that we can. So I'm super curious to know who is currently on Shopify. So Bridget, if you want to launch that poll, there's a poll that you can all answer.
Okay.
Would love to know.
Yeah, so I've launched the poll. So for those of you dialing in, you may not be able to see this. So the question is, do you currently have a Shopify store? Yes, no, or considering it. So I'm just going to give people a chance to answer that. You will have seen it pop up on your screen. And I'll wait until about the 75% mark before I launch it. I'll give it a few more seconds. People are still answering.
Cool.
Oh, this is very split. Hold on. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to share the results.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so 44% have a Shopify store, 44% don't, and 11% are considering it. So we have a split.
Awesome. Love it.
Okay.
Thanks for participating. Always good to know what we're working with, who's in the audience. Okay, so today we're learning about how to keep your ideal customers. So the main goal of this webinar is to help you implement changes that will lead to higher conversions and more revenue from existing customers. So it's going to be very tactical in nature so that you can leave the webinar with actionable items to implement into your online store. So we're going to cover strategies you can use to optimize for conversion, both on your product pages as well as your checkout. And we'll also cover customer retention strategies to ensure your existing customers stick with you for the long term. And last but not least, we're going to go over some important metrics by looking at the analytics to help you continue to grow your business. All right, so before we dive into conversion optimization and customer retention tactics, I want to take a step back for a minute and just set the stage with a quick recap of the marketing funnel. So raise your hand if you are familiar with the marketing funnel concept.
So just for those of you who may not be familiar, you do have a raise hand feature that you can use.
Cool, I see some people raising their hands right now. That's awesome. Yeah, so basically, if you've come to a webinar of mine before, I have likely referenced this. It all comes back to this. It's essentially like the customer life cycle. So this funnel is a representation of the stages a customer or a person goes through when going from prospect to customer. So at the top of the funnel, we have awareness, where prospects are just learning about your brand. Then we have consideration. So it's where your prospects are now starting to engage with your brand and starting to form purchase intent. So these two stages of the funnel, they generally require customer acquisition strategies to get leads into the funnel. And that won't be the focus of our workshop today or of our webinar today. The next stage of the focus is the actual purchase and the conversion. Then at the bottom of the funnel, we've got loyalty and advocacy. So both pretty similar. And at this point, it's all about re-engaging past purchasers and getting them to refer friends and family. So you get more new leads into the top of the funnel. So that is what we're going to be focusing on today, the second half of that. And this actually brings me to my next poll. Bridget, if you want to launch that, I'm curious to know how long everyone here has been in business.
Okay.
Awesome.
So the options for those who can't see, so under a year, 1 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, or 5+ years. So I'm just going to wait a little bit for everybody to answer, and then I'll launch the poll so you guys can see the results.
Cool.
Okay.
Also watching them
yeah, I know, it's fascinating to watch. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So okay, we've got some experienced folks in here. Okay, so about 78% have answered. So I'm gonna end the poll and share the results here so you can all see. So 18% have said under a year, 18% have said 1 to 3 years, 9% 3 to 5, and 55% have said 5+ years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Great.
Raise your hand if you're over 10, just out of my own curiosity. Anybody? Oh, cool.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
All
wow, right. That's awesome. Good for
Okay,
you.
excellent.
All right, so most of you then, I know most of you probably have your own customer base, so you're in the right spot. We're gonna find out how to keep them, how to maintain them, how they can tell their friends and family members to come to your store. Okay, so conversion optimization, also known as cart abandonment. So the pain of shopping cart abandonment affects all e-commerce businesses. I'm gonna get you to raise your hand again. So who here has their abandoned cart rate in the back of their mind all the time? All right,
Yeah,
so
I see.
we ask ourselves questions like, why do customers add to cart and then they leave? What makes them lose the motivation to actually complete their purchase? So there are three main areas you should be focusing on when optimizing for conversions. So one, your product pages. So these exist to tell your customers why your product is awesome, but it also makes it, you also want to make it as easy as possible for your customers to purchase. So a lot of businesses will focus their optimization efforts on their checkout, but customers won't get that far unless you create that quality product page. Two, we're going to be focusing on your checkout. So you need to think about what makes potential customers lose their motivation once they reach the checkout. So the two most common issues we see are that it fails to reduce fears and it fails to build trust and credibility. So we'll talk about each more in detail shortly. And three, your marketing strategy. So you want to ensure that your marketing efforts are also optimizing for conversion. So you want to capture prospect information and have an effective remarketing strategy in place to get those visitors to come back and complete their purchase. All right, so first we're going to focus on product page optimization. And there's a few ways to improve this for conversion. So one, you don't want to wait to pique your customers' interest. So you may have a number of important product details to cover on a single page. You shouldn't leave potential customers in suspense. So you want to make it clear what the product is, why it's valuable, and do that really quickly. You can include further detail going down the page, but you want to make sure that the customers, when they get to your product page, they see all the info that they need right away. Two, you want to highlight a clear call to action. So this may seem like an obvious thing, but in your pursuit of an optimized product page, you want to make sure you don't accidentally drown out the most important element, which is your add to cart button. So buying should be super easy. Which means your call to action should be impossible to miss. So you want to make sure it's above the fold, it's eye-catching, the copy is direct. Your call to action is not the place to get clever. Don't even try to get creative, just keep it as add to cart. You can save the creativity for your product description. Here's a really good example of a company called Restology. So you can see that the add to cart button is beautiful, it's center stage. It sits above the fold, and there's nothing in this section of the page that's drawing your attention away from the reason that you're there, which is buying. Has all the details listed right then and there, clean, simple, very obvious. All right, so then we can activate live chat. So targeted live chat allows potential customers to get their questions answered quickly. So this will make it easier for them to make an informed decision. Live chat works best on specific product pages where there may be a hurdle to purchase, such as pricier bundles that generate higher than average order values. So if something you've got on your shop is a higher price, maybe put a chat on there, or even products with like a lot of ingredients. I was looking at this natural deodorant website the other day, and I didn't know if I should get a paste or a stick, or if I should get the baking soda or what kind. And to be honest, live chat would have been great right there. Okay, and then you can showcase reviews and testimonials. So reviews have become so essential for establishing trust with customers. So actually the facts are that 95% of shoppers read reviews before making a purchase, including myself. I always read the reviews. I'm sure you do as well. But surveys have shown that customers trust reviews more than the descriptions provided by the store or manufacturer. So if you don't have reviews on your shop right now, you're missing a huge opportunity. I would highly recommend doing that. Some app recommendations I can give you are Shopify reviews. That one's made by Shopify. It's super simple. goes right into your store, or Yotpo is another popular one as well. Okay, now if you sell a product that is intrinsically tied to a personal outcome, like clearer skin, for example, testimonials will become super critical in your marketing toolkit. So great testimonials focus on real people. So as you can see in this example, Luxy Hair's products directly affect their customers' appearance. So to establish trust, they've liberally showcased different transformational stories and their experiences with the product. So testimonials can go a really long way. If your product is endorsed or given a reputable seal of approval of some form, letting visitors know that with a badge or seal can be a shortcut to establishing social proof. So for example, certifications like USDA Organics or a non-GMO product, if you sell consumables, would be really great to showcase on your product pages. When you're not referencing an official organization or standard, you can create your own badges that simply distill important features of your product. So here's an example from Native Deodorant. Apparently I'm on a deodorant theme right now. I'm not sure, but Native Deodorant, they have these awesome custom badges here. Aluminum free, effective odor protection, goes on smooth, vegan ingredients. So this just visually summarizes their products so you know right at a glance what's special. Now, let's talk about checkout optimization. So remember those two issues that I mentioned earlier in the presentation that are preventing people from checking out? That's what we're going to be touching on now. So the most common issues we see are that you fail to reduce fear and fail to build trust and credibility somewhere along the way. So we can touch on how we can address these issues. So the first thing we want to do in checkout is reduce fears. So fear may seem like a really exaggerated word, but you have to understand the visitor's internal dialogue during the first or the final moments before checkout. I mean, we've all had these questions when we're shopping online. Why do I need to give you my phone number? Are you going to call me when I don't want you to? Can I trust you with my credit card number? Is my information secure? Am I really getting the best deal? You know, these are questions that I've asked myself as well. I'm like, I don't know. Can I press that buy button? So these are the foundational concerns with buying online, but you can easily address these things with things like SSL certificates, which are fully integrated in Shopify. And you can squash any potential last minute concerns by linking an FAQ to the cart, which also in my deodorant experience would have been super helpful. And as I had mentioned, live chat, a great app you can use. It's gorgeous. I actually just had a webinar with them. They're awesome. Check out Gorgeous. It's an app that's available in the Shopify App Store. And last but not least, you can address the fear of missing out on the best possible deal. So Privy is also a great app that can help address this by using exit intent pop-ups with discount codes. So I'm going to show you an example here. Okay, so this is a Shopify customer called Lisa, and they use Privy to create exit intent pop-ups that offer their customers a discount code in exchange for their email address. So this is a really great way to squash any concerns over them getting the best price because they're being offered a discount. It's also a great way for them to build their email list so they can remarket to the customers in the future. So now we're going to move on to some marketing strategies that you can use to help increase your conversions. So people who are aware of your brand will convert more easily than those who are not, which is honestly why email is known to be one of the best tactics for lead nurturing. So it's super important to capture as much information as quickly as you can from your visitors so you can market to them in the future. So one of the best ways to do that is through the use of a pop-up that captures visitors' email addresses. So email pop-ups can lead to a huge increase in email signups, and traffic from email newsletters is one of the highest converting sources of traffic. So Privy, as I had mentioned, is a great app for designing effective and engaging pop-ups. And so this example from this Shopify customer, Monica and Andy, not only does it request their email, but it also shows checkboxes for the user to specify which trimester of their pregnancy they're in. So the content can be tailored to their needs, which is super great. It personalizes things. So having that good incentive for people to sign up to your newsletter is also super effective. You can reward them with loyalty points, discount codes, or exclusive content. All right, so if you're using paid ads to acquire customers but aren't doing any remarketing, this is going to be a massive opportunity for you. So the process is generally pretty simple. You would add a tracking pixel to your store to build an audience based on pages visited or events like add to cart. And then you can show these audiences ads based on these events. So in other words, if a prospect adds a product to cart but abandons it, you know they were motivated by something that prevented them from purchasing. So you can remarket to them and show them an ad for that exact product. So you could also think about including a discount as an incentive perhaps, and hopefully help them to convert to a buyer. So this image is a good example from Shopify customer Madada. So Kit also is Shopify's free virtual marketing assistant, and it's a great tool to help you remarket to prospects easily and effectively. All right, so creating a sense of urgency can also be an effective way to get your customers to convert. So there's a few different ways you can incorporate urgency into your store. You can use a countdown timer to run flash sales. And running sales every so often can be a great way to spring action from the prospects who are more on the fence. But another method you can use is to send a prospect a single-use discount code that expires in a certain amount of time. So in this example, Lisa uses Privy to show an exclusive discount to new customers that's valid for 5 days only. So by putting that pressure on the customer, especially for a significant amount of savings, they are more likely to convert. All right, so now we're going to talk about customer retention. So this is the collection of activities a business uses to increase the number of repeat customers and the profitability from each existing customer. So you want to ensure the customers you work so hard to acquire stay with you and continue to get value from your products. So in short, acquisition creates a foundation of customers while your retention strategy maximizes revenue for each one. All right, so some strategies to boost customer retention are loyalty programs. So loyalty programs are effective to increase purchase frequency because they motivate the customer to purchase more often in order to earn rewards. So this becomes a profitable exchange for both you and your customers. They get more value each time they shop, and you benefit from their repeat business. So an app that you could use for this is smile.io. And emails. So emails give you the opportunity to continue building a relationship with your customers after their initial purchase. So it is critical that each message you send adds value to your customer's experience. So a great way to get started is with follow-up emails. So a week after a customer's first purchase, send them a welcome email that acknowledges them after they've purchased. So this type of acknowledgement helps customers feel good about their decision to buy from you. It makes your brand more approachable. And after this initial email has been sent, you should make sure to send personalized messages fairly regularly. Okay, so this is not a Shopify merchant, but I so loved this example of a super personalized email. So this is like a high quality email from a company called Monica Venator. They really kicked up the personalization game by putting the name of the customer, but also if you notice, the first letter of the customer's name is engraved on the product details, which is amazing. So generally, I would tell you to be cautious about discounting. When you discount your products, you condition your customers to expect prices dropping, which ultimately can result in a loss of revenue. So sending a discount for a first-time buyer for their next purchase is a great way to nudge them to come back. So discount codes with a purchase is okay to do as long as there's a reason for it. So for example, that first buyer discount. Also can be a really effective way to bring back customers who haven't purchased in a while from you. So you may also want to experiment with offering credits to use at your store. For example, $10 toward a purchase of 100 or more. And this can also be really effective in increasing your average order value with setting that tone of if you purchase more than this, then you get the discount. So something to think about there. But definitely be intentional with the discounts that you're using. Don't just throw them out there for no reason. So this one may seem obvious, but it honestly is so important. Who here has had a negative customer service experience in a brick and mortar location and never went back? Raise your hand. It happens. Yep. So that can be the same on an online store, but what you can do is if you have that live chat or that help desk tool to be there for your customers can really boost that customer service experience. And they're like, hey, I'm definitely going to come back here for sure. So honestly, really often an effectively resolved complaint or problem can turn an unhappy customer into a loyal repeat customer. So really consider that live chat option. All right, so the key to improving conversion and customer retention is understanding the underlying metrics behind it. But what are these metrics? How do you measure them? Most importantly, how do you improve them? So we're going to look at 3 of the most important retention metrics and examine why they matter. So this is repeat customer rate, purchase frequency, and average order value. So you'll notice I've deliberately left out conversion rate from this list because while I do agree that's an important metric to keep an eye on, I don't think it is the be-all end-all of your key performance indicators. So focusing on your repeat customers, their purchase frequency, and average order values will help to gradually and continually improve your conversion rate over time anyway. Okay, so repeat customer rate is the backbone of retention marketing. So it measures the percentage of customers willing to make a second purchase from you. So measuring your repeat purchase rate is an excellent way of evaluating how well your retention strategy is actually working. So the higher the metric is, the more willing customers are to return to your store. So when it comes to measuring retention metrics, it's easy to get lost in a sea of complicated calculations, but luckily, calculating your repeat customer rate is fairly straightforward and it only requires 2 pieces of information. So 1, the number of customers with more than 1 purchase. So this refers to the number of customers who have made more than 1 purchase in a specific period of time. So I recommend adjusting the settings to 1 year. An entire year and to look at this information. And then 2, the number of unique customers. So this is the number of different customers that purchase from your store in a distinct time frame. So fortunately, this is calculated for you in your Shopify reports. So 27% is a good baseline for this percentage. All right, purchase frequency. So purchase frequency shows you how often customers are coming back to buy from your store. So this is especially important when you consider that repeat customers are responsible for 40% of the average store's annual revenue. That's a lot. So calculating your store's purchase frequency is similar to calculating repeat purchase rate. So using the same time frame you chose for your repeat purchase rate, for example, a year, divide your store's total number of orders by the number of unique customers. Okay, so once you understand repeat purchase rate and purchase frequency, it's time to maximize how much each of those purchases are worth. So this metric is known as average order value and refers to the amount of money a customer spends in your store on each transaction. So just like purchase frequency, your average order value should be calculated using the same time frame you set for your repeat purchase rate, so that year. From there, all you have to do is divide your yearly revenue by the number of orders your store processed. So average order value is available to you in Shopify Analytics as well. So whether you hope to increase these metrics one at a time or simultaneously, the ultimate goal is to increase customer value. So customer value is the final piece of the puzzle because it helps you understand how much each customer is actually worth. So in order to calculate it, you need to already have a handle on your purchase frequency and average order value. So by multiplying these two values together, you can truly see the fruits of your labor and understand the power of your marketing strategies and your return on investment. All right, so there are some additional resources here I encourage you to look at. That's our help center that tells you literally all the how-tos of Shopify. Our blog, this is really going to go over tactics for email marketing or any sort of tactics or personal stories. Definitely check it out. Shopify Academy is a great resource for education. There's amazing videos I've watched myself. Definitely check that out. And we also have a 24/7 support team. Something else I want to mention as well is my website is shopifyhamilton.com. So there, I'll let you know about any events that I'm hosting. You can book one-on-ones with me for business coaching. So this is more if you are looking to discuss your strategy of your business, whether you're growing or scaling or changing something, that would be what I'm here for. If you're looking for more of a how-to or how to use the platform or questions about apps and whatnot, definitely reach out to support for that one. But I am so happy to hear from all of you, hear about your business, what you're doing, where you're at right now, how you've pivoted with this, if you've had to pivot. So super curious and would love to keep that conversation going. So feel free to reach out to me. And one last thing, I also have a Shopify Slack channel. So if you go to shopifyhamilton.com, there is a option to join the Slack community. So this community right now is with Hamilton and Kitchener-Waterloo. There are partners in there, there's merchants. The point of it all is just so that we can lean on each other, ask each other questions, sort of just build that community aspect. So if you have any questions about that, hit me up or apply to see if you can jump in on that Slack community. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to go for it. I'm happy to answer them for you.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so yes, so if you have questions, so we have lots of time today. So this session is scheduled to go until 11:30. We wanted to give people lots of time to ask their questions of Lindsay in real time. So please do so now. Otherwise, we'll go till 11 and just, be flexible that way. So please, if you have questions, unmute yourself and you can ask them directly of Lindsay and get your answers. Don't be shy. Some groups are a little bit quiet, but this is your chance to ask your burning questions. So please do so. Oh, Rachel has, okay, so you're talking permitted now, Rachel. You can speak.
Okay, so I have a question. We've had a Shopify site for years, but most of our business was not done online. And due to the pandemic, obviously we've completely started using our online store, which has been really neat. And so it's been a bit of a steep learning curve. And a couple weeks ago, I was working on the abandoned cart email and making sure, because we had left that for about 2 months and then we realized, oh, all these people were leaving their carts. And so when I was adjusting it and trying to figure out whether or not we could take people's email addresses, I guess that's kind of my question is, there was this spot where you could send them an email whether or not they agreed for you to take their email address. And I was just wondering about the sort of legal aspect of that. Like, can you just send someone an email saying, oh, it looks like, you left your coffee in your cart. you want
Mm,
to go back to your cart and purchase it. Is that okay, even if they haven't specifically said you can use my email address?
fair. So I also, in my experience, I do recall you can't just send anyone an email if they have not agreed to it. But I think with abandoned cart, you can, because it's not marketing.
Okay.
Or, you know, or like in the Shopify backend, like if you can be like, hey, I'm pretty sure you can do that without having them check that they're okay with email marketing.
Okay. Well, I no, and I thought you could do that. I just thought that was
Yeah.
interesting that you could send that email without them checking off that box.
Yeah, there
So
must be like
yeah,
that,
I
there
have
must be
set
like
up
that
now.
gray area.
Yeah, it is a little bit gray. I mean, I've gotten a lot of those myself, abandoned cart checkouts, and I actually appreciate them because a lot of times I'm creating a cart at like 11 at night, and then I'm just sleepy, and I think you're probably impulse buying, leave your cart alone.
Yeah.
And I
Same.
forget about it. But then when I get that email, it is actually quite effective because I think, oh yeah, I do want those items. And I would have forgot that I'd even started that cart.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely impulse purchased recently. I can understand this. But yeah, I think that is the line there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where
Thank
it's
you.
directly related to an action versus like, hey,
Here's what we have. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem. That's a really good question.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
Great.
no problem. And best of luck with your business.
Thank you.
And we have Karina has her hand up. So Karina, you can speak. I've unmuted your mic.
Okay, awesome. Hey, Lindsay, nice to meet
Hey,
you.
nice to meet you too. Oh, hey, we were chatting.
So I'm just in addition to the last question, I'm leaving a multi-vendor site that is Shopify based, and I'm starting my own. And
Okay.
I've received a lot of orders through that previous site. And
Mm.
on that site, they agree upon getting an email with them. However, they ordered my product through my specific portal, my shop. And I've downloaded all of those emails. Does that give me the okay to send them an email to say, hey, I'm on my own now. You bought from me in the past, and this is my offer. How does that balance on the legalities?
I mean, I'm definitely not a legal professional, but I feel like my rule of thumb here would be if they gave the okay where they signed up for email marketing, then you could send it. That's my
Yeah.
understanding of how it would work. So I guess I would only pull the emails like in your customer list, just make sure it's the people who have signed up for email marketing. And then I would pull that list of customers.
Yes, because I mean, if they wouldn't, the only way that you get the email apparently is when they agree upon it, right? Because they have a choice of not putting their email in there.
Right in your
And yeah, that's what I've seen. And if I put a line saying, hey, you're getting this email because you bought from me in the past, feel free to unsubscribe. I think I would probably, get some like maybe 50% acceptance, and maybe, some people that'll not answer at all. And then some people will just unsubscribe, right? Because if I have that option, I can do that, right?
Yeah, just make sure that they've given you the okay. So what it should say is customer accepts email marketing.
Okay.
And
all
you know
right.
what? There's a really great opportunity for you to make this super fun. You can be like,
Right.
hey, we've changed things, like this could be a really cool opportunity to make it an exciting email for people to, get interested in your shop again and come back, that retention.
Exactly. No, I do like on my other shops, I have very good retention. I'm actually quite higher than what I see here. But it's
Awesome.
those new imported customers from the other Shopify platform that I'd like to migrate over. And it's a quite substantial list, but they bought specifically from me. So, using the skin of the other shop.
Oh, you know what? Sorry, something that I missed here is that you were a vendor in a marketplace? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. When I heard that immediately, at first I thought maybe you were running the marketplace. Okay.
No. I was within a marketplace of some other like 80 other vendors.
Got it.
And
Ooh, okay.
now I'm breaking off to my own. However, all of my product was branded with my name. Everything that shipped was with my business card. So it wasn't like I wasn't like a white label within that marketplace.
Right. Right. Do you know have you spoken to the marketplace about it, or maybe you don't, that could be conflicting, right?
It might be conflicting, but I have had a lot of people contact me via my branding in the packaging directly.
Okay.
So they've contacted me already and they've already repeated their orders. I mean, I have people that collect my product now.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, you know what? I feel like that does like make it a bit complicated. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the answer, but I'm going to make a note here. I have your email,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I can do a little bit of digging for you to see if I can find any more information about that, because I
Correct.
definitely want to be sure. That is a bit
Yeah.
of a tricky situation. I hope that you can be like, these are my customers, but it's
Yeah.
email marketing within the entirety of their shop, right? Okay. I'm just gonna
Well,
make a note.
it's I'm breaking off on my own, right? So I'm
Right.
just, and then I have the information of the buyer, right? And I mean, I've had like over, I have to admit, I have over 500 names.
That's awesome.
So, I and I want to include them in my email with my other regular customers who love hearing from me,
Mm.
and then let them know that, guess what? I just launched a Shopify store, because this was long in
Right.
waiting. This has been long in waiting for me to do.
Right. Okay. Let me look into that.
Okay.
And if you have any agreements with like if there's like some
There isn't any.
small
I
items.
reviewed the contract completely, and
Okay.
I even have it in writing from them in an email saying, by all means, include all your contact information, your business card, and any offers with your products. So that sort of like opens the gateway. If they said, no, you can't do that, then this question wouldn't even exist.
Right. Okay. Good to know. All right. Let me look into this a little bit more for you.
Okay.
And I'd love to chat with you a little bit more about that. But that sounds promising.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Okay, so Juliet has her hand up. And Juliet, you have your mic unmuted, so you can feel free to ask your question.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks so much, Lindsay. That was really informative.
No problem.
So I fall in the 11%, I think, that are considering a Shopify store. So I was just wondering if you had some, I know this is very broad, but just general advice and things to look out for, like common faux pas for starting a Shopify store that we can avoid.
That is kind of broad. I'm trying to think. I feel like my best advice is like, start off really simple. Is it just an online store?
So to provide a bit more context, I'm looking to launch a high-end luxury fashion brand.
Okay, cool. So I guess my best advice to you, if you're going to launch a high-end luxury fashion brand, photos. High res photos are going to be the most important thing that you do. I feel like, especially if, it's high end, I would definitely, if you can, try to put a lot of effort into that when creating your store.
Okay.
And more in a general standpoint, don't worry about too many bells and whistles right now. When you're launching, use the basic plan. Add apps if you feel like they're going to help you. There's obviously like the ones that I had mentioned, like live chat and whatnot. But when you're first starting out, like test things out, but like definitely don't like overwhelm your back end with apps and whatnot. And also my best suggestion to you is find an example of a store that you want to be like. Like do that research. Like who's like that top fashion store that you resonate with? Like who are they? Look at them. What's their Instagram like? What's their marketing like? Sign up for their emails. So just really studying your market and your competition and that like dream goal will really help you out. I always ask, whenever I have like meetings with people, I'm always like, okay, what's your dream store? Like, what are you trying to be? What are you trying to achieve? Just having that as a reference is super helpful.
Okay, that's really good to know. And then in terms of selecting which template that's best suited for my type of product, what are your recommendations?
In terms of the themes, I mean, we do have our Shopify free themes. They're pretty good, but there are some paid themes that I would recommend looking at. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a name of one right now, but if you go to the theme store, and like just Google Shopify themes, I think it's themes.shopify.com. You will have the option to click on industry. Like, so there's like a bunch of filters on the left-hand side. Say you want like a slideshow video or whatever it may be. You can select that, but there's an option for industry like fashion, and it'll give you a bunch of examples of themes that fashion stores have used. So I would definitely take a look in there if you are looking to purchase one. But also, yeah, check out, there'll be some fashion examples for the free themes as well. But I would say like with high fashion brands, I would ensure, or with a high fashion website, I would ensure that the photos are important.
Okay.
And like there are themes that really highlight the product photos as well and make that the most apparent thing on the page. So that's something that I would recommend there.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Good luck.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you for all the questions so far. Are there any more? We've got lots of time. I say let's go till, if we'd like, we can go for another 10 minutes. And yes, please, if you have any questions related to your shop, this is the time to ask them. Lindsay's here to help. So feel free, raise your hand, and everybody pretty much has been unmuted at this time, so you can ask. Oh, okay, so Rachel, go ahead.
Hi, this is just a really quick question. When you were talking about customer retention, you mentioned an app for doing a loyalty program. It was like Smile something. I'm just
Smile.
By that.
Yeah, smile.io.
Like lowercase I-O, or?
If you go into the Shopify App Store, so it's apps.shopify.com, type in Smile. Smile.io, all lowercase. It should pop up.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Great. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? We've got time. Okay.
Alternatively, though, oh, yes, Karina.
Yes.
Okay, I have another question. So abandoned
Yeah, sure.
cart. So dealing with an abandoned cart, how long do you think it should take for us to send out an email or a message or prompting them to come in? What is the length of time before it sort of like becomes redundant? Is it like 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours? Just,
That's a good question. I would honestly do it in like a day or two, because maybe it is a situation where you're doing like that weird late night shop and you're like, I don't know, and you haven't really thought it through yet. So I would say just like 24 hours plus.
Okay.
Yeah, feel like just a little nudge.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, am I bugging them too quick, or is it going to be like, or they forgot about me,
Right. Yeah, no, I think that having a little bit of time, like that it's not right away, would be beneficial there.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So we've got time for maybe a last question. Anybody want to ask a last question of Lindsay? Well, thank you so far for all the great questions.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's great to hear your voices, and I hope we can all chat and meet soon.
Yes, definitely. So, and if anybody would like to connect with Lindsay, feel free to connect with Innovation Factory, and we will put you in contact. I'm happy to make some introductions if you'd like. If you have more questions or if you'd like to learn more about Shopify, so feel free to connect with us. Lindsay will very likely be back, as I will be in contact for future sessions. They have a lot of great content, so we'd be happy to have them back in the near future. So in the interim, so some of you will be asking about this particular session. We have recorded the session, and we have a resource page upon which it can live. If you would like a recording, feel free to connect with me, and I can send it to you once it's completed downloading. It takes a little bit of time, but I should have it by this afternoon. So feel free to connect with us and let me know if you'd like to contact Lindsay. And Lindsay, I wanted to thank you as well for joining us today. Obviously last but not least, but yeah, thank you so much for all the information and for answering all the questions that people had. It's always lovely to have you work with us, and looking forward to future working together.
No problem. My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me again. Appreciate it.
Great. And thank you to everybody who attended and for all your questions. And we will see you at the next session. Thanks again. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.